After the launcher separation, we will enter the layup phase, which will allow the satellite to reach its final orbital position in geostationary orbit, and which will also allow to start the bus test. Then we will start the payload in-orbit test, and the satellite should be finally fully operational mid-May.
To reach this operational life, a long integration campaign has been necessary here in French Guiana, involving teams from Ariane Space and the satellite customers working together.
I really enjoyed the atmosphere in Kourou, both relaxed and efficient. In fact, there was some kind of emotion when the satellite disappeared and made a fairing, as we saw it for the last time. But anyway, we will keep in touch.
And 29 minutes, 47, 48, 49 seconds into the mission now. We continue to close in on the next major milestone. But before we get there, one question that I've always had concerns the launch time here from Kourou. And we normally launch at about sunset. The satellites are now over the Indian Ocean. And the sun has got to be just about coming up right now. Does that have anything to do with the time we launch?
Yes, this is one of the controlling factors. In fact, satellites have a lot of constraints, mostly with respect to the sun for their technical operations. So remember, once the fairing is separated, the upper satellite tonight, Yahsat 1A, is exposed to the vacuum space. In space, an object facing the sun is extremely hot, while the other side in the shadow is very cold, so it is critical that most of the journey be done in the darkness. Then when separation occurs, it is like the birth of a new baby. The baby needs air, the satellites need sunlight to make energy because it has limited battery life. Thus, we want to separate them as close as possible to local sunrise so the baby can breathe.
Well, that sounds simple enough, but if you consider rocket science simple, then I guess it is. But I've spent most of my life as a radio announcer. How do you calculate the time when you have two satellites?
In fact, it's a matter of compromise between the operational requirements coming from both customers. This is another major controlling factor dictating the length of the launch window.
Another question for you. We let Yahsat 1A go first. Who decides what satellite rides in what position?
In fact, it is determined by the size of the satellite. Remember, Harry, one of them must fit inside the cylinder. Ariane Space chose the configurations that allow the small one to go inside the cylinder, and the heavier satellite always goes on top.
Alrighty, and right now we are going to take a moment to hear about the future of the Intelsat New Dawn satellite.
Let's see, once we separate from the Ariane launch vehicle, it'll take approximately 10 days to raise the orbit from the geotransfer orbit to the geosynchronous orbit. After that, we'll have the payload in-orbit testing. That'll take approximately 15 days. And then once we complete the payload testing, we'll drift it to the on-station orbit location, and it'll take approximately 5 to 10 days.
After all these tests, the teams of Intelsat New Dawn, which have been working hard, will be amply rewarded when their satellite will finally offer services to Africa.
Well, this satellite, the Intelsat New Dawn spacecraft, is designed specifically for the African continent, and it's going to bring wireless services to all the African people. As the slogan says, a satellite for Africa, by Africa. I'm also very proud that this satellite also is endorsed by the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and his name appears on the fairing.
Almost 33 minutes into the mission, the next event will be the separation of the cylinder covering the Intelsat New Dawn satellite. The composite is being rotated into the correct position as we speak. How do we separate that cylinder?
A pyrotechnic device separates the cylinder from its base. Then a set of 8 springs push the upper part away. Everything is designed to avoid collision with the satellite, which is inside.
And the cylinder weighs over 1,000 pounds. Those have got to be some big springs.
Yes, but remember, once again, we're in space and there is no gravity, so we don't need that much energy. You could push it away with your hands.
Okay, and I'm Superman. I think I can probably just shove it away with no problem at all. We are closing in on that announcement very shortly that the cylinder...
du système de lancement double Ariane.
And there it is.
The cylinder has separated. Intelsat New Dawn is seeing the sun for the first time.
Yeah, and the onboard computer is now conducting an orientation maneuver to reach the required altitude at separation of the last satellite, Intelsat New Dawn.
Well, Yahsat 1A has gone one way, now the Silda has gone another, and now we're repointing the composite so the Intelsat New Dawn satellite does not continue on the same path that the Silda is on. The requirement for each mission is different, I assume, depending upon the satellites involved?
Yes, and that is exactly why each mission is unique, and this space ballet changes every time.
And again, it is rocket science, but you guys have it down here at Ariane Space and how to do it. We are closing in on a magical moment here, probably about
Mise en spin au profit d'Intelsat New Dawn.
20 seconds or so before separation.
Yes, we are in the last maneuver before the separation of Yahsat New Dawn, and you can see on your screen everyone is expecting it from one moment to another, and there it is.
There it is, and the cheers come up, and there has been another success by the folks at Ariane Space, and there's hugs and cheers and handshakes going around with everybody, because really thousands and thousands of man-hours went into making this happen.
Yeah, and you can see everyone really happy, congratulating themselves. You can see people from Yahsat, from Intelsat, New Dawn, and everyone, the program directors from Ariane Space who have been working for a long time, and
happy.
This famous character from Tex Avery, Rupi.
You know, it's interesting because my wife even said to me, she said, it's got to be almost like having a baby or seeing a baby go off to college, or either way, simply because you worked so hard to make it all happen.
Yeah.
And now it's come to fruition.
Exactly, and now we will see a replay of the liftoff of the Ariane 5.
There it is.
So that's it for the replay. These beautiful images of the Ariane 5 liftoff. It's every time a great moment, and so you can see everyone congratulating, and then we will have some speeches from...
There's another shot of the replay. And again, as we return, you see the congratulations continuing. People are really having a good time here at Kourou because 2 new satellites have been placed into orbit by the Ariane 5. Now, Jean-Yves Leguer.
Comme vous venez de le voir, ce 57e lancement d'Ariane 5 vient de placer sur leur orbite de transfert géostationnaire Yahsat et
Intelsat New Dawn satellites into geostationary transfer orbit. Once again, I am delighted with this successful launch. This launch occurs with a 3-week postponement.
À ce qui était prévu, mais son parfait déroulement.
This perfect mission shows clearly that facing last month's issues, we made exactly what we had to do.
Exactement ce qu'il y avait à faire, et je veux donc vous remercier.
And I would like to thank you all for the trust you've shown during these last weeks.
Ce soir, nous sommes très fiers d'avoir mis en orbite.
Today we are particularly proud of having orbited the first communication satellites for 2 companies, Yahsat and Convergence Partners. We are also very proud of boosting a total payload of 10,050 kilograms, including 8,956 kilograms for the 2 satellites into geostationary transfer orbit, setting a new record for Ariane 5. I would first like to extend my sincere thanks to our customers. Yahsat Y-1A is the first United Arab Emirates satellite to be launched by Ariane Space. And we are very honored to assist in the operational startup of the company Yahsat. I would also like to particularly thank my friend Yassem Al-Zabi, who selected Ariane Space right from the start of his project, and you have made the right choice tonight. I would also like to congratulate our partners, Thales Alenia Space and Astrium, for their excellent job in constructing the Yahsat 1A satellite and for once again placing their trust in us. Intelsat New Dawn also marks the first. This state-of-the-art satellite built by Orbital Sciences Corporation is the result of a joint venture between Intelsat and Convergence partners. New Dawn is also the 52nd Intelsat satellite launched by Ariane Space, perfectly reflecting the bonds our two countries have formed over the last 3 decades. I would like to congratulate my friend Dave McGlade and his African partners for once again entrusting us with a vital mission. Lots of you worldwide have followed this new success of Ariane 5. I would like to thank everyone in Johannesburg, Abu Dhabi, Washington DC and everywhere. More successful launches await us, since another 4 Ariane 5 missions are scheduled this year, along with 2 Soyuz launches in French Guiana and 3 in Baikonur, not to mention the first Vega launch. I would also like to thank everyone who has contributed to this remarkable success. The member states of the European Space Agency, who recently approved fundamental measures to guarantee the long-term viability of our business. All of our industrial partners, whose full-fledged commitment enables us to carry out launches at a sustained pace. The teams from French Space Agency CNES, not only in France but also in French Guiana, and of course all the operating staff at Ariane Space, whose professionalism, commitment and above all expertise unrivaled worldwide granted the success of our launches.